Hey everybody, welcome back to my EH video. Today's video we're actually doing the dual colors 30 tech challenge. We're starting to get into the dual colors anyways. Gold colors, whatever you want to call them. Today we're doing Azorius. This is a pretty non-hipster deck. Brago, King Eternal, 2, and Azorius. Legendary creature, Spirit Noble, flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. He's a 2/4 for 4. Kind of inefficient there. This is probably one of my favorite decks, even though I don't really like Azorius that much. Azorius is known for a lot of stacks. This is not a stacks deck. This is just a enter the battlefield, draw card value deck with extra turn combos. That's literally the whole deck. It's pretty fun. I'll get into it here in a little bit. But first, we got to talk about what's actually in the deck. What number of stuff we got in here. So I believe we have 25 creatures, 4 sorceries, 13 instants, 13 artifacts, 2 enchantments, and 35 lands. 35 lands, I feel like that's a good area to be at with 2-color decks. This deck's coming in at a whopping $258.67 on the lower end for my decks. The main ones are the Great Wheel coming at 14, Displacer Kitten coming at 16, Teferi's Protection at 36, Mana Drain at 33, and Smothering Tithe at 25, which makes up pretty much a large percentage of the deck. I can't do the math right now, but it's like over a little bit over 100, like 110, $115, something like that. Probably not accurate math, but that's just quick math by looking at the screen. I don't understand the actual number, but that makes up a large percentage of the deck. So let's get right into the ramp. This is Zorius. There's not really many options, but we have Thought Vessels, Solemn Simulacrum, and Soul Ring. Solemn because we could just blink it a bunch of times, get a bunch of basics. The same with the other ones. You can blink them and get the extra mana. It's a non-land permanent, so we can pretty much net mana every turn if we have these rocks out, except for Thought Vessel, obviously. Cloud of Fairies, not really ramp, but it enters and untaps 2 lands, which is really good with Brago, because if we don't cast it that turn, we just basically just untap 2 lands. Arcane Signet and Talisman of Progress, obviously there's good 2 mana rocks. Why wouldn't you put them in the deck? I don't know. Maybe you're just a hipster and don't like running them. But then we have Prosperous Pirates, 5 mana for 2 treasures. But again, since we have Brago, we create a bunch of treasures. Peregrine Drake enters, untaps 5 lands. It just replaces itself. Great Whale does the same thing. Untaps 7 lands though for 7 mana. Get a bunch of untapping or entering the battlefield and untap lands. Smothering Tide, not really ramp, but it's creates treasures. And then Sword of Hearth and Home is just whenever a creature deals combat damage, exile a creature, and then you can also get a basic land. So it's kind of going with both of our strategies, blinking, and also we need some ramp. So might as well. Next, we got draw. There's a lot of draw in here. We got Muse Drake, enters and draws. Skyscanner enters and draws. Wall of Omens enters and draws. The power and toughness doesn't really matter. We just want these for the enter and draw effect. With our commander, it's pretty good because we can swing out. And if we have 3 of these out, we just blink them and we enter and we draw 3 cards pretty much. We have all 3 of them out. We have Go Globe, enters and draws a card. We can also sacrifice it and fix our mana. Ichor Wellspring enters and put in the graveyard and draw a card. Maul Drifter enters and draws a card. We can also evoke it for 3, but it gets sacrificed. Spirited Companion enters and draws a card. Cloud Brazier, 5 mana, enters. We gain 2 life and we draw a card. And then Cloud Concealer, 3 mana, enters the battlefield and we draw a card. Well, 2 in a blue, but still. And Cloud Blazers, 3 in an Azorius. Candlekeep Sage, I think backgrounds are underrated, but this is commander creatures have whenever the commander enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield, draw a card. We're going to be drawing 2 cards to turn off this if we have Brago out. The Spearing Overseer, whenever it enters, we gain a life and draw a card. And then Nerd Rage enters and draws 2 cards, and then no maximum hand size, and then +10/+10 whenever it attacks. Extraordinary Zuri, we can exile something, and whenever something is cast or enters from exile, we draw a card. And then Doorpour Mage, whenever we exile something or blink something, we draw a card. Circuit Mender, whenever it leaves, we draw a card, and whenever it enters, we gain life. Soul Herder, we can blink something at the end of our turn. With this is in blink. This is 1 in Azorius, and then Sword of Hearth and Home again with ramps us, but it can also blink something. Urian will blink everything at whenever it enters the battlefield. So we blink it, it enters, and then we blink everything again. Felidar Guardian enters and blinks something else. Ghostly Flicker will flicker something. 2 things: artifacts, creature, or lands. And Restoration Angel will blink a non-angel creature. Pretty sure it goes infinite with a Felidar Guardian, but anyways, Eldrazi Displacer. You can pay 2 in a colorless, which we have the lands in here to tap for the colorless. So you can exile another target creature and return it to the battlefield. Ephemerate is a 1 mana, but you can also cast it again if you exile with Rebound. Extraordinary Journey will, if you can pay X and exile stuff. Displacer Kitten, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you can exile a non-land permanent and return it. And then Displace, you can exile 2 creatures and return them. And then an Area Interlude, you can just exile any number of target creatures you control and return them to the battlefield. Only at your end step, though. So when they return. Cloud Shift, just exile target creature and return it. Not very great, but it's 1 mana. Conjurer's Closet will let us blink something on our end step, and then Dead-Eye Navigator will soul bond something, and we can just pay 2 mana and exile that creature. Next, we got Brago, which is just our commander. Figured I'd throw him in here because he does blink stuff whenever he deals combat damage. He's pretty much the sole piece of the deck that we want to be hitting with. If we hit with him, boom, blink him, just do a bunch of cool stuff. Next, we got removal. These are counter spells, but I put them in removal because why not? Dovin's Veto, counter target non-creature spell. Mana Drain, counter target spell for 2 blue. Then you add Colorless at the beginning of your next main phase. And then Rewind will just 4 mana, but you could counter target spell and then untap 4 lands, so it's kind of free, but not really. Render Silent, counter target spell. Its controller can't cast spells this turn, which is 1 white and 2 blue. Counter spell, just counter target spell. Absorb 1 white, 2 blue. Counter target spell, you gain 3 life. I like a lot of these. I mean, it's a lot of mana to hold up. But we have a couple instances in here so that we can just do those instead. Raven Form, 2 and a blue, exile target creature or artifact, and they get a 1/1 burn. And then Pongify is just a destroy target creature, 3/3 green ape they get. And Deputy Attention, we can flicker and exile target non-creature, whatever, over and over again if we want. Austra Command is a board wipe. You know what that does. Destroy all artifacts, enchantments, 3/3 or 3 or less mana value or 4 or greater mana value. And then Path to Exile. Cavalier Dawn, we can just keep blinking over and over again, which is very good in this deck. And that's our removal. We don't have Meteor Golem in here. It's too much. And then we have the Mill Strat. We have Sage Rose Denizen. Whenever another blue creature enters the battlefield under your control, that player or target player puts 2 cards on top of their library into the graveyard. And then Altar of Brood, whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent puts the top card of his or her library into the graveyard. Every deck needs a good Mill Strat, so why not? Then we have Can't Block This. Rogue's Passage makes our Brago unblockable. If we pay 4, Sword of Hearthhome gives it protection from green and white, which I just like this card. I know I just throw in everything. And every, every blink deck or every land deck, why not? Green and white, good protection there. And we have Access Tunnel, which will give target creature with power 3 or less can be blocked for 3. And then we had Whisper Cell Cloak on the other page that I didn't get to. It just makes it Shroud and unblockable for an equipment. Pretty good. Random good stuff. I didn't know where to put these at, so I just threw them here because why not? Teferi's Protection. It doesn't get our ETB triggers, but it'll protect our stuff. And then we have Time Warp and Walk the Aeons, which is extra turn spells that we kind of want to get back with certain cards in here that we have that help us get these back. That we can kind of do this every turn. Next up, we got Revelark. Leaves the battlefield. We can return 2 creatures with power 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Why not? Strenic Resonator to copy Brago's triggered abilities. Whenever he deals combat damage, and Swiftfoot Boots to give him haste and hexproof if we need to do that. Archaeomancer, which will return our instants and sorceries, which can go infinite with an extra turn spell in Brago. And then Karmic Guide returns our creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then Panormonicon doubles our ETB triggers, which we have a lot of ETB triggers, so why not? Next up, we got Lands. Lands, just you need them in every deck pretty much. 13 Islands, 12 Plains. Tranquil Cove, Reliquary Tower, Rogue's Passage, Mistgate Pathway, Hingegate Pathway, which is the flip side of Mistgate Pathway, and then Hollowed Fountain, Glacial Floodplain, Demolition Field, Command Tower, Outer Car Waste, and Access Tunnel. We have a lot of these lands. Like we have Demolition Field in here to tap for the colorless to activate our Eldrazi Displacer. It's important. There's like 7 or 8 cards in here that can tap for colorless to add to so we can be able to do that. We want that to be a thing because we need to be able to activate that Eldrazi Displacer to exile stuff. It's a really good card and it's really good in this deck. Goes infinite with so many things in here. Goes infinite with the Great Whale. Goes infinite with the one that untaps 5. So why not? Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. These are kind of just fast deck techs to throw up on the channel so that you guys know what my decks are about. What like you can look at a deck list, but you're gonna be like, man, what the heck's this deck about? Like, why is there all this random crap in here? But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below that this deck's okay. But also, if you guys want to see a video gameplay of the deck and like live or not live, but if you want to see it in action, there's links in the description. and deck list will also be there. So yeah, peace.